Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello and welcome back to Combat Sports UK. I'm Pedro McCorry, and today we're joined by a very special guest, number 6th ranked Bantamweight Rob Font. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Now, obviously, your last two fights didn't go your way, but you showed a good account of yourself, right? What did you take away from those fights that you're bringing into this huge fight in April?
Yeah, obviously staying focused the whole round. I was winning most of every single round, and then I would lose at the end with something big, a big shot would land. Just staying super focused, finishing the round. And just being in a better position all the time. That's the hard part at this level, is like one little mess up, one little slip, and you pay for it. And you saw like my last fight, I was winning most of every single round, and I just get, and then obviously Cheeto did a great job of taking advantage of the big shots and the damage, and that night I wasn't wearing that damage as well as I usually do, so it's kind of like it all kind of like I kind of hit the trifecta of like looking worse than what it actually was, him kind of stealing each round, and then obviously me putting myself in that position. So again, I know it seems like a lot, but I just got if I could tighten all that up, I feel like I could win these type of fights, at least those last two fights.
And the injuries, obviously, your face kind of swelled up. Were there a lot of injuries, or was it just kind of like the surface damage?
I think it was again, I don't fully know, but I don't think I completely was healed up from the Aldo fight. I kind of fractured my orbital bone in that fight, and I might have came back a little too quick, too early. I got hit with I want to say it was a left hook in the Cheeto fight, and I just felt like my face just exploded, like everything. I felt like it just cracked down the middle. I thought I re-broke my orbital again, but it was just my nose. It was my nose that broke, and then it was like I had like a bruise in my orbital, but it wasn't broken again. But it felt like it, and then from there, I think it just swelled up so fast. Like my eyes, my nose, like everything just kept getting like, and it wasn't. And obviously little bumps here and there, and obviously as the fight went on, it got a little worse. And then he caught me. I believe it might have been the third or fourth round. He caught me with an elbow and it cut me. So it just kept getting worse. But yeah, it was like maybe 4 or 5 major shots that landed, but they did a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean Cheeto hits hard, but obviously coming into this next fight, I feel like there's a little less pressure now. You headlined 3 straight events, and now I believe you're the third fight on the pay-per-view, and it's your first fight in front of a crowd since 2019 against Simone, right? Are you excited for the crowd, and do you feel any less pressure because you're not in that headlining spot?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm excited to kind of get back out there in front of that crowd, and like you said, haven't been in front of a crowd since DC. It was like 2019 versus Ricky Simone. Been fighting, all my fights have been at the Apex since I came back. So yeah, and then obviously this is my this is one of the fights I'm not main eventing either. So like you said, there isn't the extra 2 rounds. There isn't I gotta wait a lot longer. I mean, I'm still gonna have to wait a little longer because where we at on the card, but I'm not waiting the whole time. And then as far as pressure, yeah, I guess you could say there's a little less pressure, but it's still there. I haven't lost 2 in a row, and it's my first time losing 2 in a row, and I definitely don't plan on making it 3. So, there's still that pressure, but that's with every fight though. That's with every obviously UFC fight, and especially when you find a killer like Yanez.
And obviously we're about a month and a half out from the fight. It was maybe a little too early in the camp, but how's the camp going, and who are your main training partners and coaches for this one?
Yeah, camp's going great. I just got back from wrestling. As far as my main sparring partners, we got my boy John Duma. He's been helping me out a lot as far as MMA rounds. Then we got my boy James Ryan. He's been helping me out with some boxing rounds. And then obviously all the wrestlers that we work with, all the MMA guys that we work with. But those 2 are my main sparring partners. They keep me safe. They push me. They push me to that limit without obviously hurting me as well. So it's kind of like we have good chemistry with that. Yeah, we're not just sitting there just banging it away like kind of like the old days. So it's good work. It's smart work. Obviously Tyson's leading the way as far as overall MMA coach, and then we have Sean Farley with the boxing, Jake Manini with the Muay Thai, Nick Fiore, obviously with my BJJ, and then strength and conditioning has always been Mike Perry, and yeah, obviously we got the team there. I feel good. Obviously the nutrition's on point. The weight won't be an issue this fight, and I'm excited.
And I wanted to ask you as well, with Calvin Kattar obviously tearing his knee in his last fight, any update on his knee and when he could return?
He's looking good. He just came back. Well, not just about like 3 weeks ago. He just came back from Vegas. He was rehabbing out there. He got the surgery out there, and he was rehabbing out there for about probably like 2 months. He's looking good. He's moving. He's obviously he's not doing MMA movement, but he's
Yeah.
the PT. He's on the bike. He's lifting. He's in the pool a lot. Obviously light shadow boxing, but nothing crazy. And then and obviously he's getting ready for his big show coming up. At Encore in Boston, so he's getting ready for that. He's promoting that, so he has something to keep his mind busy as far as as far as like being in the fight game, but not obviously fighting itself. So he has that to keep him busy. I think he's in a good spot. As far as when he's coming back, I couldn't say. I think he needs at least 4 more months to kind of like just obviously grind out, make those legs as strong as possible.
Mhm.
But I can say he's ahead of time. He's ahead of schedule for sure as far as rehab. I would predict he won't be no longer than a full year, maybe a couple, like maybe a year and a half, but we won't be out a full. He won't be more than that. He won't be out more than that.
And you kind of mentioned Boston. Obviously, he has a thing there. Is there any chance we get a UFC Boston coming soon, right? With you and Kattar, and we have some other Massachusetts talent. Giannetti's working his way up in Cage Titans. Do you
Yeah,
think we could get a UFC Boston card maybe the end of the year?
man, I wish. I think it's too easy for Dana to come to Boston, so he doesn't necessarily want to. He's done it a couple times already. I believe he's trying to get out to obviously different markets, but they need to come back. They usually come back every other year at the beginning of the year in like January. I fought twice on them. Me and Calvin fought on one together, and it was the best night of our lives, honestly. So like I would love to get back out there and in front of that crowd. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should tweet him, hit him up. We got to figure this out. We got to talk to the staff, get to whoever we got to get to get to Dana, and make sure he comes back out. Obviously he'll be back out here at Encore for Dana White's looking for a fight. So I'll put it in his ear for you for sure.
Do you know the promotion that Dana's going to for looking for a fight?
Yes, it's Calvin Cater's Combat Zone. His
All right.
own
Okay.
promotion. Yeah, so he's promoting it. Encore I'm hosting the event, and yeah, we
Yeah,
got a couple guys fighting on that card, and it's gonna be a great night.
that's great. And getting back to your fight, obviously with Adrian Yanez, have you broken down a lot of film, and have you identified, okay, this is where I have my advantage in this fight or advantages?
Yes and no. We obviously I try to watch definitely is because I believe it's only had four or five fights in the UFC. They're
Yeah,
all
he's not had too many.
yeah, and then they're all on Fight Pass. So like we watch them down. I like to kind of like watch the first 2 rounds to see how they start, see how he gets comfortable and when he gets comfortable and why he gets comfortable as far as like little things that he sees or he keeps repetitive and it's been kind of hard because he's finishing these fights, he's getting out of
Yeah.
there. So there's not much on him. And then obviously he has a lot of fights outside of the cage that I gotta admit I haven't really looked up. I'll let Tyson kind of do that. But we have a game plan. I could say that he definitely has more of like a boxing defense where he kind of like uses his head and he kind of moves all the way out the way. So
Yeah.
the with like in a general way to kind of get him out of position all the time to see if I can land something big. But he's slick with it. He's quick with it. He's making it work and then using that kind of like rotation with your body loads up big shots. So then you see why he puts guys away because he's fully rotated and he lets go. But yeah, if I can get him out of position and get him kind of like leaning too far one way or the other and then making something happen, that's obviously the game plan.
And can we get a prediction from you? I know it's early, but can we get a prediction from you? TKO, submission, decision? What are you feeling in this one?
Middle, man. I want to submit him. I'm thinking like second round submission.
Awesome. Second, so do you want to take him down or maybe like a knockdown submit club and sub kind of thing?
Club and sub. I like how you said that, club. I've never heard it that way, but I'm like the club and sub, man.
Perfect. And how soon after that fight would you like to get back in there? Obviously, the layoff from the Cheeto fight, I'm sure you're just itching to get back in there. And then maybe end of the year, midpoint of the year fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually try to, like, if I can, and I'll see whatever the UFC needs, and how everything shakes out. As far as, especially if I can get a fight, like an injury or something like that pops out, I would definitely jump in. But I would like to at least have at least 2 more months, after the fight for sure. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like there's something right into it, at least 2 months. Usually I'm a little banged up for like 2 weeks after each fight. Even in the quick ones, you still kind of banged up from the camp, and little kicks and bruises. So at least 2 months. But I'm in no rush. I definitely need to get back in that win column, and then be real strategic and smart how we get back into this conversation of getting back to that title.
And is there any name in mind as well? Obviously, Piotr Jan Marab are going at. I feel like that's a fight you're looking at, right? Corey Sandhagen, Cheeto Vera. Is there a name in mind? Maybe Dominic Cruz, who's right behind you at number 7.
Yeah, so realistically, I would love to kind of, like, obviously fight the next guy ahead of me, or again a bigger name that's behind me, like Cruz. That'd be cool. And then and be ready for anything that, God forbid, I wish no injury or anybody, but God forbid shit does happen. I would love to be the guy to get that call. Say like a Rob or Peter Yan fight, or obviously the Cheeto Corey can't. That wouldn't be realistic because it's before my fight. But like, say one of them get a fight and they can't make it, I would love to jump in. But if not, sit back, fight the guy behind me. A guy like again, like a legend like Cruz, or the next guy in front of me. But I still have tall task ahead of me with
Yeah.
Adrian Yanez.
And I wanted to get to some predictions as well. We have a big card coming up with John Jones and Cyril Gane. Do you have a prediction for that fight?
Man, it's hard for me to go against Jones, man.
Mm.
He's been so on top for so many years, even though he hasn't fought in forever. Um, Obviously, you got to worry about the weight and then the power of any heavyweight, really. So you have to keep that in mind. But he has length, he has footwork. He's shown that he could take a shot here and there. Obviously, not at heavyweight, but he's been clipped here a couple times. Gustafsson, Reyes, they pushed him a little bit. And he always has that wrestling in his back pocket that he can always just dump you. So I think if nothing crazy lands in the first 2 rounds, I really believe he can finish him in the third or squeak out the whole decision.
And I wanted to get through the bantamweight fights. No need for a big detailed thing if you don't want to, but Cejudo and Sterling going at it, the championship fight. Where do you see that one going?
Oh, good fight, great fight. I love it. It's gonna be a lot. I can't wait for the press conference more than anything.
Yeah.
Gonna be interesting. They're gonna go at it for sure. Um, Obviously on paper, Henry Cejudo is a better wrestler as far as other accolades and Olympic and college and all that stuff. Um, Aljamain's gonna be the bigger, longer fighter. Obviously, man, it's interesting. They both have. I would say you could say Henry Cejudo has a I guess a more technical style as far as striking, and then but
Yeah.
Aljamain awkward, weird, like
Yeah, he's
you know
tricky.
yeah, he's tricky. He's long. He kicks and wrestles. Usually people punch and wrestle. He's kicking and wrestling. So that can make it awkward. Because then you got to add in Henry hasn't been out. He's been out for a while. You got to kind of calculate that. But I don't look too much into he hasn't been in there for a while because he's a competitor. Overall, I think it's going to be a great fight. I think the champ wins that one.
Yeah, so Aljamain Sterling, I want to get 2 more out of you, and then I have one last question. So Jan Marab and Cheeto versus Sandhagen. Just give me the name of those two, because I know you're a busy guy, man.
Man, I would love to see Cheeto win that fight. It would look better for me, right? Well, but no, all jokes aside, like I think it'd be a fun fight. Corey's hard to deal with, though. I do like the fact that they're in a bigger cage now. I think
Yeah,
originally it was at the
it was the
Apex, right?
Apex before. It was supposed to be last weekend. Yeah,
Yeah, so they're in a bigger cage, so you gotta assume that's going to benefit Sandhagen, right?
yeah.
Uh, I know for a fact that Cheeto won't get tired.
Yeah.
He's more cardio king. I know that for a fact. But neither will Sandhagen. He can take damage as well. It's a tough fight. Um, I'm gonna go with. Damn, it's tough, man. It's a tough one.
No, I
It's just
know. I'm back and forth on it the entire time as well.
I'm gonna pass on this one, man. I'm gonna pass on this one.
And Jan Murad next month. Can we get just a quick one from you there?
Yan versus Marab. Man, I want to see Peter Yan come back. Man, I'm going with Peter Yan on
Yeah.
that one. Rob is definitely a tough fight. He's gonna make it a hard fight. But I want to see Peter Yan come back with a W.
And one last question, not so much to do with fighting, but you recently had a child in January. How great is dad life? Having a kid and also now making your return. How good does it feel?
Oh man, it's a complete blessing. I've been smiling and cheesing every day. I wake up and I got little mini me looking at me like, like just what's up, Dad? How you doing? Take care of me. It's like a lot of just a lot of good feelings, a lot of joy, a lot of like just happiness in the house. And it's always kind of been like that, but not like this, man. Like this is different. This is crazy. This is like it's hard to explain how happy I am. Like just this just like overflowing with like love and happiness and just like but obviously like a little bit of pressure too. Like now that's when I go to the gym, it's there's more like there's more urgency, I would say, in the round, in the scramble, in the practice, and then it's like an urgency to get back home to kind of like obviously see her, hang out with her, and spend as much time as I can with her.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us. I know that the baby is going to motivate you and bring an even better animal out of you. Catch Rob Font's fight in April. It's going to be a banger. Third fight on the main card. Thank you so much for joining us, Rob. Really appreciate it.